What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the UFL Teambuilder franchise here on Madden 25, where we are out here controlling our hometown Dayton Triangles. Now, we're here in season number 2, and we are still in the thick of things for a playoff spot. But right now, those hopes are on life support. And if we want to come out here, finish this episode out with a playoff appearance, then not only do we need to win the last couple of games on our schedule, we also need a little bit of help from the San Antonio Brahmas as well, as San Antonio currently holds that 7th and final seed at that 9-6 record at the moment. So huge 2 games for us where we're really in kind of a fork in the road. Do we go for the playoff appearance at this point, or do we look at the future of our franchise, as we might have 1 or 2 players possibly leaving our team for the NFL at the end of the season? So with that being said, we got a lot of exciting action here in this episode. We're going to finish out the rest of this season. We're going to play against Columbus, show the highlights of Columbus at the very least, but we're going to also jump into this full game against Pittsburgh, which I am very excited about, and hopefully you guys are excited for it as well. So with that being said, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, the last regular season video here in year number 2. And if you guys like the video, man, make sure you do a couple of things for me for sure. Make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do have to be brand new to the channel. And without any doubt or any further delay, let's go ahead and jump into our Sunday night primetime matchup against the Pittsburgh Maulers, who are also vying for a playoff spot here in season number 2. Alright, boys, so we are going to go ahead and defer to the second half. So that means this Pittsburgh squad, it comes out for its first possession of the game. Now, I really enjoyed what I saw in the Vegas matchup last week from a defensive standpoint, so let's see if we can recreate that. And if we want to recreate that, we actually got to be able to stop the run. We did not, in fact, stop the run. Zach Dickens going to get his first carry of the day. He gets 11 on a 2nd and short. And if we can't stop the run or the pass, it's going to be a long day for us. But with that being said, Jared Strong, he's going to get an interception. Let's go, man. Jared Strong, our number 3 corner, getting busy with it, man, as we are going to be set up with amazing field position in order to start things out, man. You love to see it. So we will end up taking over at about the 45-yard line. Let's see if our boys can go ahead and get busy with it, as we'll start with running this ball with Paul Lashley, one of the best players in the entire UFL. And you can see his stats from last week in our upset against the Vegas Vipers. 20 carries, 116 yards. He had almost 6 yards a carry. With that kind of workload, he was doing some great things for us in the last matchup. And we might need him again in order to pull this upset off against Pittsburgh and try to ultimately prevent the Pittsburgh Maulers from making the playoffs. But we will pick up a first down, though, with our ground game, or actually with our passing game, as we go back to Paul Lashley on the ground. But we will have a penalty on the field, and it's going to be called on Grayson Heineck, the tight end. That's going to bring us back quite a bit here. So we will be facing 1st and 20, as we'll go ahead and get things rolling here with the 1st and 20. Looking around, he's going to send this one deep downfield. He's got a guy, and he finds Paul Lashley in the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton! And we strike first here in New Welcome Stadium as we take a 7-0 lead against our hated rivals. So with that being said, got the 7-0 lead here already, and this defense is going to work as well. Harold Perez is going to get his first sack of the game, able to bring Justin Price down in the backfield. So now it's going to be 3rd and 22, and all I ask is, guys, do not get beat deep. And you know what happens? We got beat deep. Dylan Wright cannot catch up to him in time. And so Justin Price on a 3rd and 22 gets a 25-yard gain and moves the drive forward. I mean, you want to talk about having some kind of game being drunk, this game could absolutely end up being drunk, man. Just some wild stuff happening right in front of our eyes. And now Pittsburgh is in our territory as well. They're threatening with their first points of the game as they trying to set up play action once again, trying to get it out to the flat. But we're able to get some really good pressure as Harold Perez was there to get some pressure on this quarterback. And now it's going to be 3rd and 7. Price is going to be able to motion his tight end out to the left-hand side. Looking around over to the right-hand side, and Dylan Wright is going to be able to break it up. We will force the Pittsburgh Maulers to settle for a field goal. And now we're going to be up 7-3. So we hold on to the lead for now. So let's see if we can build upon this lead for the time being as we find Chris Saxon to start our very next drive. He's able to move the sticks for a first down. As now, 1st and 10 coming up. Collar's going to drop back. He's going to get a little bit of play action going, trying to throw to the right inside, and it connects with Chris Saxon again. Chris Saxon has been on a tear all season long, and that will continue as this Pittsburgh secondary doesn't really have any answers for this Pittsburgh secondary thus far, as I thought that pass was complete to Leon Thomas, but it looked a little close for us to use our only challenge of the game. So we're going to get it back to 2nd and 10, but Paul Lashley will help us get some of those yards that we should have had last play, and we still will be set up with a 3rd and short regardless, as Jason Bingham will go into motion for the 3rd and 4. Collar looking around, throws, and Jason Bingham cannot hang on to it, man. That would have been a first down if he was actually able to hang on to it, but he's low-key a bum. So that means we do have to go ahead and settle for a field goal. Still up 10-3, but definitely missed a golden opportunity up by 2 possessions. But Ricky Roberts will give us another one, though, as Ricky Roberts takes it inside the 30-yard line. And Justin Price is going to be intercepted for the 2nd time in 1 quarter, as that will take us to the end of the 1st quarter, where we are cooking defensively. More turnovers and touchdowns, you love to see it. So we'll go ahead and jump into the 2nd quarter of action, where we pick up inside the 30-yard line, where we try to finish with points on the board, as we'll dump it off to Jason Bingham, who was one but make it open on the pivot route, and that will be a first down for your Dayton Triangles. So we'll start off in the red zone here, as we'll run it with Paul Lashley. Up the gut, he tries to run through a defender, but he will be brought down, though. Still inside the 5-yard line, as we have 1st and goal now. Got 3 plays to get 4 yards. Goller tries to make one happen for Chris Saxton, but able to get through. And now we get to a couple plays later where we drive it down to the 1-yard line, trying to get the push for our offensive line, and we get it. Touchdown, Dayton. And Paul Lashley is going to score, extending the lead against the Pittsburgh Maulers. So now we find ourselves up 17-3 now, as Justin Price gets ready to go under center, trying to dump it off to the tight ends, able to make Dylan Wright miss in the open field. Denario Allen is going to have to try and bring him down himself, as that's going to be a first down for the Pittsburgh Maulers, though. As now we got 1st and 10 at about midfield. We almost get caught with the offsides penalty. Instead, it's going to be a throw to the right-hand side, where Paul Townsend is going to be able to drag him down before getting to the first down marker. But only needs 1 yard for the next couple of plays, and they are going to get it on literally the exact next play. That's going to be a first down for Pittsburgh, as the Maulers are trying to put together a drive themselves. Really need this score in order to get back into the game. We'll see if they can get it here, as Dylan Wright and company is able to combine on a tackle, but Justin Price does get over 100 yards on the day. Meanwhile, throwing over to the left-hand side is another good pass there for Justin Price, as he's able to get across the 20-yard lines. It sets up the first red zone opportunity today for the Pittsburgh squad, as Dylan Wright can't make the tackle, but a few other Dayton defenders do step up and take down Leggett. So gets Pittsburgh a lot closer as they face a very short third down, throwing to the left-hand side, and it's going to be caught. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. And the Pittsburgh squad is going to help with Chris Morrison finding the end zone. And on this Sunday night, we got a competitive game here once again. But we are just about 2 minutes left here in the first half, so if we play this right, this could be the final drive of the first half before we go into the locker room, as a nice slide there by Andrew Collar takes us to the 2-minute warning. However, first play out of 2-minute warning, though, we're going to find Chris Saxon, who's able to pivot away from the defender down the sideline. He's going to be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, Dayton! And this offense is on fire right now. Chris Saxon simply cannot be stopped right now. Absolutely incredible work. And so with that being said, we get a 24-10 lead, and you won't know what's even better. We get the free and out, and you know what's even better? Joe Spears makes a couple guys miss, and now he's off to the races, down the sideline, across the 20, makes a man miss, and almost gets through the punter. Oh, that punter was the final line of defense there, but we will take beautiful field position here, starting at about the 10-yard line. 1st and 10 for your Dayton Triangles. As now, Collar's going to drop back. He's surveying the defense. Finds Jason Bingham, who runs away from the linebacker. And it's another touchdown. It is another touchdown on the board as Jason Bingham extends the lead for the Dayton Triangles. We're now going to be up 31-10. It's been an absolutely wild ride here thus far. But Pittsburgh still has the ball here. They still have a chance to possibly come out here and get some sort of momentum for their offense. They're not playing too terribly. I mean, they do have 10 points on the board. That's really not bad by professional standards. It's just that, you know, we've been able to do just about anything that we wanted offensively. So they're put in a tough spot where they are going to be experiencing a lot of a pass rush as Dylan Wright gets home. He now has the X Factor turned on for this 3rd and 9, throwing to the left-hand side, and Peter Bass is going to break it up. So that means that Pittsburgh is going to have to punt this football away, and they give us a little bit of time to cook. 43 seconds left, and we got 2 timeouts. Collar working in the shotgun. It's going to be a 4-wide set plus Grayson Heidick. He throws to the left-hand side and finds Leon Thomas, as Leon Thomas almost picks up the first down. We'll go ahead and use one of our timeouts right away. 2nd and inches coming up, though, as Collar again in the shotgun. It's another 5-wide concept trying to throw down the left-hand side. He's got a man. It's Chris Saxon down the sideline, able to hit the dot. And look at Andrew Collar's stats on the day. It's been absolutely electric. So 32 seconds left. We have a realistic shot of finding the end zone as we won the throw to Chris Saxon, but we saw him a little late. Andrew Collar will throw out of the sack, but it's going to be 2nd and 10 instead. Where we'll drop back to pass once again as we find Grayson Heidick down the sideline. He's going to be able to get himself out of bounds, though, and that is going to stop the clock. That clock is going to stop at 22 seconds. As now, Andrew looking, just roll to his right. He sees his tight end open in the end zone, throws it up, and that's caught as well. I mean, you want to talk about literally not doing anything wrong right now? They are absolutely not doing anything wrong right now. As that's going to take us into the halftime locker room, actually. We have a convincing lead at the moment, as we're going to be up 38-10 to half. So you cannot simply ask for a better first half than what we have. And here's the beautiful part in all of this. We get the ball to start this second half as well. So let's see what this offense can do here at the start of the second half. Now that we can reintroduce the running game. Now passing-wise has been absolutely excellent. I can't have a single complaint about this passing game whatsoever, or the running game. But the passing game has been shredding them apart. I mean, you want to talk about another big play for Chris Saxon downfield. And the crazy thing is that, you know, Collar was, if he let it go earlier, he might have been able to get even more yards out of it. That's just the kind of day that we're having offensively, as Chris Saxon now has over 200 yards on the day. He's having himself a curtains moment. But on a 3rd and short, though, we want to try to keep this drive alive. We're throwing over the middle. We find Leon Thomas. He's trying to get downfield, and he almost finds the end zone. So close to making this 40-burger happen. But that being said, we will be able to have 3 shots at the end zone. We'll only need 1, though, as Paul Lashley gets in on the first drive for the read option. And Paul Lashley is going to score once again for the Dayton Triangles. So a convincing lead here yet again as we're up 45-10. As Pittsburgh going to get their ground game going here. I'm surprised that they are not completely abandoning the run, knowing that they're only down by 35 points. But, I mean, anything could happen here in these spring football leagues. As we do see Dylan Wright make his 5th tackle of the day, but will not be able to stop the first down, and that will get Pittsburgh into Dayton territory. And this offensive line is actually doing a pretty good job of protecting Justin Price on this particular drive. We saw a lot of pressure applied in that first half, but it seems like Pittsburgh has made some solid adjustments there on the other side, and not a liquid or a gas. So now, 1st and 10 coming up midway through the 3rd quarter as Spencer tries to get through and is successful in doing so. Cameron Spencer, on a little bit of a delayed blitz there, is able to get home, and that will give our defense some critical breathing room. A 7-yard loss on the play. As now we're staring down 2nd and 17 as Roberts again is going to get home. It's another Cameron Spencer sack. Oh my! Justin Price getting completely bamboozled right now as it's 3rd and 22. And all I ask, guys, don't get beat deep. We just got to rally to the football, and sure enough, we do so successfully. Not really a lot that you can do there on a 3rd and 20 plus. You just got to take the yards that are available. And that's going to end in a Pittsburgh field goal. But we're still up by 32, though, as we try to get back into this game. As Grayson Heineck's going to drop that pass. That does not feel great. Feel like we haven't gotten Grayson Heineck too terribly involved. So I do want to get a little bit more diversity in terms of who touches the ball here, as we're going to try to throw over the middle. Wanted to force it out to Grayson Heineck, but Andrew Collard just never saw the linebacker sitting in open space. Looks like one of our offensive linemen is going to have some injury issues. So, unfortunately, the completely perfect day is going to be gone because we did turn the football over. And now Pittsburgh has a chance to strike here late in the 3rd quarter of action, as Chris Morrison silently having a really good day himself. 10 catches, 130 yards. He also already has a touchdown on the day, but someone else is going to find the end zone. No, it's the X-Factor tight end, none other than Jeff Barkley. He's going to get his first touchdown of the day, and Pittsburgh's going to be able to cut it to 25 points. So here we are late in the 3rd quarter of action, as it looks like Pittsburgh sends the blitz, but Paul Lashley runs around it, and oh, if he was able to spin away or just get away from that defender cleanly, he was taking that to the crib. But hey, still in a very successful play there. But can we try to build off of it, though, as we face 3rd and 6? Collard does not like what he sees downfield. He's going to try to roll to his right. Does find Paul Lashley, but not a good job on the scramble drill, though, as that is going to bring an end to the 3rd quarter of action, as Dayton is going to have a 25-point lead going into the final quarter of action. We just got one more quarter to finish the job. So Pittsburgh's playoff hopes on the line. We are up by 25 right now. We want to go for the kill. We're going to go for it here on 4th down. Collard looking, tries to get out to Chris Saxon, but saw him late, though. And that is going to be a turnover on downs. If Pittsburgh can score here on yet another drive, it could get very interesting here very quickly. So, with that being said, we'll quick over to a couple of plays later where they actually go with the post route. I thought it was going to be a different play where it was going to be that corner route, and I was, I guess, wrong, and we definitely paid the price because of it. Dylan Wright looking silly because of my mistakes. As now it's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line. Looks like a little bit of a read at action, and Ricky Roberts will be able to bring him down quickly, but not before a gain of 5. So only need 5 more yards for another first down, as they're going to go ahead and try to, slow this running game down. And this is what Pittsburgh should have been doing earlier in the game. I mean, their running game has been finding some good holes in our defense. No Diddy involved. And so with a chance to score a couple of plays later, they will do just that, as that's going to be another touchdown for Pittsburgh. That's Marcus Macbeth able to score for the Pittsburgh Maulers. And now the score is cut to 18. So on the verge of the 50 burger, we'll see if we can get ourselves going here once again. This game is not fully over. I feel really good still, don't get me wrong, but 14 unanswered points for the Pittsburgh Maulers makes me think a little differently now, as we'll run up the gut with Paul Lashley, and he'll nearly pick up the first down with his legs. And so, I mean, the running game has been working extremely well, so why go away from it? We're going to run it again here, 3rd and 1, and Paul Lashley does move it forward. Another first down for the Pittsburgh squad, or at least that Dayton squad, making Pittsburgh's defense to stay on the field. Just a little bit of a brain fart there. And at this point, we did end up seeing Paul Lashley get hurt. We didn't get the chance to catch the injury. So now at this point, we're going to get looks at Nate Thompson and Joe Spears, as well, as Nate Thompson had a chance to pick up the first down for us, but we aren't going to get it. But this is a good moment to figure out who's going to be our stars moving forward, as we got a 4th and 1 looking over the middle. Really had multiple guys open there. Could have gone in multiple directions, but we decided with Leon Thomas on the slant, and that will be able to take us into the 2-minute warning here, where we'll have a chance to see if we can actually get that 50 burger accomplished or not. But we are seeing that Pittsburgh is taking their timeouts now, which I find really surprising, because they are definitely out of this game. So we're going to go with a little bit of play action here. We're going to get a little creative here on the 3rd and goal, and we find a wide open Chris Saxon. I was more than happy with running this clock out, just trying to get us home in one piece, but no, that is not what's happening here, because Pittsburgh has the audacity to call timeouts. So we're going to run up this score, and now we have the 50 burger up on the scoreboard. Now it's Pittsburgh's turn to possibly respond. We got the win in hand, but I would really like to see this defense finish strong, though. 1st and 10 coming up, as they're going to throw it to the left-hand side, and Peter Bass almost had an interception. He read that perfectly and just dropped it in his hands. So now it's 2nd and 10 coming up, as they'll throw it to the opposite side, and that is a dot. Dylan Wright just could not be able to keep up, and Dylan Wright was in good position, but it was just a perfect throw to Chris Morrison, who was able to expand on his stats on the day. However, he was caught in bounds, so that means we are going to see Pittsburgh go into like the no huddle for here on out. As now 2nd and 10 coming up, Morrison going to try to get open here on the right hand side, and he's going to be able to actually do just that, get open on that right hand side. Except that's Macbeth, not Morrison. Got the two mixed up there, so that's my bad. 1st and 10 from the 16, though, as Pittsburgh tries to throw over the middle. That's Morrison, as Morrison nearly picks up the first down, but they are out of timeouts, so they're going to get to the line of scrimmage quickly. Less than 20 seconds left in the game. Throw it to the left-hand side, and that was well covered. Nick Cotton was there on the coverage. He's going to be able to force a 3rd and inches. As now dropping back, looking over the middle, and that's going to be incomplete. He just throws it to the back of the end zone. Justin Price did not like what he saw downfield, and now it's just going to come down to his 4th and inches to see if we can in fact prevent the garbage time touchdown. And sure enough, they will. Peter Bass was supposed to attack short, and he kind of slid upfield a little bit too much, gave enough room for Chris Morrison to go to work. But it was still a great day for our squad. We win 52-34, and we successfully played spoiler for our division rivals. So you want to talk about one of our most dominating performances of the season. We definitely got it here in a divisional battle against Pittsburgh. This was a game that was essentially over after the first half. 38 points in one single half. I mean, you want to talk about a big time performance. We absolutely did that. And then the second half, well, it wasn't nearly as sharp. It was mainly a formality up to that point. Now, with that being said, Andrew Collar wasn't perfect per se. 19 for 29, did throw an interception. He also threw 5 touchdown passes, and that's going to put him on the verge of 40 touchdown passes on the season. So a pretty good statistical season in spite of the turnovers. Not to mention he did end up throwing for over 300 yards. For the ground game, Paul Lashley was on the very edge of 100 yards. I thought I was going to be able to get 100 yards for him, but what did end up happening is that Paul Lashley did end up getting hurt. So I had a chance to get 100 yards. Unfortunately, didn't happen, but did open up opportunities for other guys. Nathan Thompson was solid with his opportunities. Jason Bingham had a good carry or two. And then Joe Spears, who's primarily a return person. Joe Spears was also able to come out here and, get a couple of opportunities as well. So, if Paul Lashley was out long term, then we would have a little bit of a running back by committee. But that being said, like what I saw from the running back room outside of Paul Lashley. Now, we got to talk about the player of the game in my eyes, and it's got to be Chris Saxton. He was unguardable in this game, man. 9 catches, 203 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Paul Lashley did also catch a touchdown, as did Grayson Heidick and Jason Bingham. The only major receiver that didn't get a touchdown today was Leon Thomas, although he didn't have a bad day either with 3 catches and 41 yards. Now, I will say that I thought the defense played spectacularly in this ball game. They did give up 30 points, but that's a little bit misleading because that was when the game was already over. When the game mattered, these guys showed up and played. Dylan Wright in particular was all over the field with 15 tackles and 4 TFLs. Then Niles Khan was also doing his thing as well. He had 8 total tackles in the ball game. Another thing that I really love to see was our ability to get to this quarterback as well. Dylan Wright had 2 sacks, as did Cameron Spencer, who was just flying all around this field. Harold Perez, the elder statesman of our group, more of a mentor at this point, he was even able to get in there and get a sack, which was cool to see. And then we did get a couple of interceptions. Ricky Roberts, who I did end up using, we got a pick with him. And then Jared Strong, one of our backup corners, was also able to get an interception as well. So a great performance all around. It's able to at least get us back to 500 on the season. However, our success does come with a price, because the injury that we saw Paul Lashley have was a torn labrum, and that means he's going to be out for at least the regular season. And depending on how things shake up with the playoffs, Paul Lashley might have played his final game as a Dayton Triangle, because he is so good. He definitely deserves an NFL opportunity if it comes his direction. And so if that opportunity comes his way, then this is going to be the last game that he plays as a Dayton Triangle. So with no Paul Lashley, and we don't have Matt Weaver either, we are now going to be focused in on what we need to do in terms of taking on a team that will be favored, because Ryan Clark, who does a little bit of covering of the UFL, says that Columbus should be favored. And you know what? Final game of the season, we're still in this stance of trying to play spoiler. If we can't make the playoffs themselves, we got to lay out a plan of action in order to get it done. And I want to be able to have a ball control type of game. But another thing that we have to do before we actually jump into the action on the field is that we actually do have a fair number of upgrades, and particularly DeAndre Bazier actually has more than just one upgrade. He's actually going to have 2 upgrades to work from. And so what I think I want to do for DeAndre Bazier is that I want to put them both into playmaker, because that is going to make him a little bit more of a scheme fit for us. So on that first one, he got a +2 to catching and a +3 to medium route running. And then we'll do playmaker one more time, and that will actually take him to a natural 70 overall, where he gets a +5 to deep route and a +2 to ball carrier vision. Another person getting an upgrade is Chris Saxon. Now, Chris Saxon, he is trending upwards to being a 93 overall. And so I wonder if this will make him a 94 right here. And it actually does. So Chris Saxon will get pluses to multiple things, including awareness, carrying, ball carrier vision, and break tackling, but with the morale and temporary boost. So Chris Saxon is looking at being a 94 overall. This is just his third year in the league. He's going crazy. Also getting a boost is Cameron Spencer, one of our starting linebackers. Now, Cameron Spencer has been doing his thing. He had a huge performance against Pittsburgh, so I'm not surprised that he's getting an upgrade. And Cam Spencer is now going to be up to an 82 overall with a +3 to power moves, so that we make him a little bit more of a well-rounded rusher when it comes to getting after the quarterback. As for Isaiah Connor is one of our offensive linemen that is kind of a rotational piece. He's not a full-time starter, but he is one of the better backups that we have on the team, and he's usually like a sixth man, to think of it that way. We'll put it into power here, and he actually doesn't get much of an overall boost here. He remains at a 73, but he does get an upgrade to pass blocking power, which does help us out in the long run. As for Joe Spears is actually one of our special teams guys. Don't really see him on the field much offensively, although that could change here in the final week of the season. We're going to go to elusive back here, and that's going to bring him, looks like, to about a natural 71 overall. He's sitting at a 72 now with +1s across the board. And then the last person that we have was Austin Rayner, who does come in as one of our backup players and actually does see quite a bit of playing time for someone that is only a 62 overall. Now, we will work on his pass coverage because we always could, work on his pass coverage abilities. He does get +2s to man and zone coverage, so that will help out quite a bit, but still have to work on his skill sets a little bit before we feel comfortable putting him on the field on a more consistent basis. Alright, boys, so we don't have Paul Lashley and we don't have Matt Weaver, but we still have a heck of a football team, even though we haven't shown it consistently this season. So let's come out here and see if we can make the road to the playoffs a little bit more difficult for Columbus. They're in as the 5 seed right now, but if they were to lose, they would be the 7 seed. So that's the difference of playing against a weak divisional winner, like what we saw from the like the Boston Mariners, for example, when we were checking in on the standings for them, as well as trying to take down a team like Vegas, which would be a lot more difficult to do. But we do get a holding penalty in our favor, though, as Mike Abrams was the guilty party. So we get him to a 2nd and 21. So we're going to try to see if we can bring pressure right away, as Denario Allen was there. He was all over it like macaroni on cheese. And now we're staring down a 3rd and 21. 3rd and 21 coming up as they're going to try to drop back the pass, and Cameron Spencer lights him off. He's been having a great last couple of games. His 3rd sack in the last 2 games. It will force Columbus to go ahead and settle for a field goal. We'll get a touchdown off screen. So we're going to be up 7-3 here. Good game here between us and Columbus. It's always a battle when these two teams get together to decide who is the superior UFL squad in the Buckeye State. And Columbus will take the lead with Matt Hudon, as he's going to get a big touchdown for this Columbus team. But we will have a big decision time as Brian Lawrence, running back that we brought in through free agency to help supplement Paul Lashley's season-ending injury. He's going to come in. He tries to get the first down. Can't do it. So now it's 4th and 1. We try to throw for the first down, and we will get it with Jason Bingham, as Jason Bingham's going to be able to move the sticks. Huge first down for us. And now we got a goal line situation. A chance to take the lead. Collar throws to the right-hand side, and it's incomplete. Grayson Hyde could not bring it in, unfortunately. And so that does mean that we had to settle for a field goal ourselves. And this game is going to be all tied up at 10 apiece. So with that being said here, as Curtis drops back the pass, throws to the right-hand side, and Peter Townsend cannot bring him to a halt. Dan Jenkins able to make an example of our superstar corner. So now that means we're going to be in the 2-minute warning here as they'll drop back the pass again. Throwing over the right-hand side, and that is going to be completed to Matt Hutton, who may be having a little bit of a concussion on the field, but nobody really checks on him. You know, the UFL doesn't have the same resources or protections as the NFL does. But what we do have is excitement in action, and we have some more excitement here after Columbus scores yet again. We're going to be down 17-10, but this game is certainly going to be far from over as Andrew Collar is going to go ahead and go to work here. 1st and 10, firing over the middle and finds Leon Thomas. And Leon Thomas is going to be able to go ahead and pick up a 1st down. Will mean we go into our no huddle even though we have all of our timeouts, because I want to see if we can catch this Columbus team napping as Collar's going to throw over the middle and finds Chris Saxon. He will be brought down before the 1st down marker. So we will use a timeout here, and we still have a couple remaining. It's just still important that we try to get some big plays downfield and keep moving the chains. We got a little aggressive there, and it didn't work out as we wanted Grayson Heidick. So now it's 3rd and 1 as Collar is going to drop back the pass once Jason Bingham over the middle, but he cannot hang on to it, unfortunately. So that is going to force us to punt this ball back over to Columbus. And we're going to be down by 7 at the half. But in the start of the 2nd half, though, we get a chance to go ahead and make things a tie once again. As we drive into the red zone here, a chance to tie things up. Collar drops back, looks over to the right-hand side. He finds Chris Sexton in the end zone. Touchdown, triangles. And Dayton is going to be able to tie things up here as Chris Saxton is going to make it an even Steven 17 all game. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get things going here in the 4th quarter as Joe Spears has really distinguished himself with the opportunities that he's had. Not as many as Brian Lawrence, but you know, maybe Joe Spears can possibly be our running back 1 depending on how things shake out in the offseason if he continues to perform like he has been performing right now. Now, he does have things that he needs to work on, like pass protection. Could have been a little bit of a pass protecting buddy there, but 3rd and 1, we are going to go for it no matter what, because the field goal is not going to help us out here. So we're going to pass for it here on 3rd down, and we had Grayson Heidick open for a touchdown. He just got open just a tad too late. And so with that being said, 4th and 1, we're going to go for it here. Putting our hands in the new running back, Lawrence, making his team debut in the final game of the season. And he'll move the sticks for the 1st down. So now we got 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. As now, 1st and goal, throwing over the middle and finds Grayson Heidick in the end zone. Touchdown, Dayton. And it's all knotted up here at 24 apiece. Here we go. 4:30 left to play, and Columbus is driving. Looking over to the middle of the field, and it's going to be completed. Ricky Roberts was in the right spot there for a split second, but with that being said, he can't hold it down. So now, here we go with the throw over the middle of the field. It's intercepted. Denario Allen with a big-time play. Let's go, baby. Way to give our guys a chance to win in the final game of the season. The upset can absolutely happen right now, man. Let's go. So here we are with 3.5 left to play. We have a chance to try and win this game. Can this team put together a game-winning drive? 1st and 10 with 3:22 left to play here in the ball game as Collar's going to go ahead, run it up the gut with Brian Lawrence, who has nowhere to go. But there is a penalty out on the field, and that's going to knock us back significantly. So now it's 1st and 20. We want to throw towards the left-hand side. We got a man open for Jason Bingham, but we lead him out of bounds. We let him out of bounds, bro. That's tough. So now it's going to be 2nd and 20 where we try to throw over the middle. Oh, we wanted Leon Thomas, but he was covered. And things are not looking good for us. All of a sudden, Luke Flowers gets the interception. And Columbus is already set up with fantastic field position. already in a spot to where they have a chance to win this thing. Let's see how they handle this drive here, now knowing that they do have a field goal in their back pocket. Looking over the middle of the field, they find a receiver, and that will be down inside the 5-yard line. Now guaranteed to have a layup for a field goal attempt, but we'll see if they go for the touchdown instead because they're so close. And sure enough, Matt Hudon is going to run into the end zone. Ricky Roberts meets him, but just doesn't have the power. He's more of a coverage linebacker, and Matt Hudon makes us pay for it. We're going to be down by 7. We are going to be down by 7 points here, as now here we are with 2:24 left to play. Collar looking over the right-hand side. It's another bad decision. Oh my goodness, Andrew Collar. He throws 2 interceptions in a row. This one's going to go to Morgan Briscoe. And Morgan Briscoe is going to possibly seal the deal. We do have a chance to get the ball here. It's a very small chance, but we have a chance to get these guys off the field here. 1st and 10. Looking over the middle. They settle in. Looks like Matt Hudon with the catch once again, or it could be their tight end. Honestly, couldn't remember, but now we are in a 2-minute warning, and now might be a good time to use our timeouts if we can, in fact, get the stop. Now, Hudon is going to move the chains for the Columbus Destroyers, and now we are in a spot to where we gotta use our timeouts here. So we only have 1 timeout remaining here, as they're going to try to throw to the right-hand side. It is completed, and we might have, I thought we were able to get him out of bounds, but Peter Townsend just didn't do quite enough there. They are going to roll him in bounds, and they're actually going to go for it here on 4th down, right? Like, they are actually going to go for it here on 4th down. A chance to settle this game, and they get it. They just barely get the 1st down, and this game is barbecue chicken after that. Columbus is going to win 31-24, and so that means for us, we're going to finish this season under 500, sadly. So this was just not the game that we wanted here at the end of the day. We fought extremely hard, and we really wanted to try our best to try to play spoiler for this Columbus Destroyers team, at least maybe get them down to like the 7th seed of the playoffs or something, but unfortunately it didn't happen for us. We turned the ball over twice in our final 2 drives, and that ended up being costly because that first drive ended up giving Columbus the lead, and then that second drive essentially sealed the game for the Columbus Destroyers. So a tough way to finish season number 2, if we're being honest with ourselves. And listen, for Andrew Collar, for 3.5 quarters of this game, Andrew Collar was on point. It was just, like I mentioned, those last couple of drives where he threw those 2 interceptions in a row. It's a tough way to go out. It's a tough way to end your season, but that's what he did, and it overshadows the 280 yards, 3 touchdown passes, and the 67% completion percentage that he did end up having in this game. Now, for the running backs, I tried to give both running backs a reasonable chance. We didn't run the ball very often just because of game script. Joe Spears seemed like he was more effective here in year number in the final game of the season. We gave Brian Warrens a chance, and I don't think Brian Warrens is our guy moving forward. Just 5 carries and 8 yards. We really need more production than that out of our running game, and that just simply didn't happen here with Brian Warrens making a start. That being said, I was, however, surprised to see who my leading receiver was. Jason Bingham. Yes, Jason Bingham actually ends up being our leading receiver. 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown. He had a pretty good day today. So did Grayson Heidick, the star tight end, ended up with 10 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown. Chris Saxon was able to find the end zone as well, as you love to see. And then Leon Thomas was able to make a little bit of a contribution as well. So did a decent job of moving the ball around, even though we didn't end it in a victory. And then finally, defensively, listen, the defense had its pluses, it had its minuses, but we had multiple guys with 7 total tackles. Dylan Wright, Peter Townsend, Jared Strong, and Niles Cotton all have 7 tackles. A little bit concerning that most of you guys are DBs, but it is what it is. That's kind of been the story of the season, just kind of being let down by our defense. Although, with that being said, it wasn't all bad on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we did see Cameron Spencer and Tyler Pointer both get sacks in this game, so we do love to see that kind of energy from our squad. And then Denario Allen was also able to get an interception as well. Denario Allen, the safety out of Iowa, was able to make his presence felt in the back of the end zone. So we do love to see that. Just need to see more defensive consistency from our team going into year number 3. But even though the games didn't end as much as the way that I wanted it to, we do at least get a couple more upgrades for a couple guys on the offensive side of the ball, and particularly Barry Elfman, who gets 2 upgrades in the same game, which is pretty cool. So for one, we're going to do it for power, because that will get him up to a 78 overall, and that will give him a +2 to pass blocking, which we love to see. And then speaking of that pass blocking, for the other one, I think I just want to put it into the scheme. I want to put it into pass protector. Now, he doesn't get an overall upgrade this particular time, but, you know, again, seeing those upgrades into the pass blocking, I think that's going to serve him extremely well as we get into next season. And speaking of next season, Andrew Collier does get another upgrade. He's up to a 90 overall right now, and we're going to work on his field general. I think we have an excellent quarterback in Andrew Collier. He just has to remember that he can't fit everything through those tight windows, and that caused some mistakes, you know, there towards the end of the game. But we have an extremely talented quarterback on our side. I'm happy that Andrew Collier is playing for a football team, even though he did throw those 2 interceptions like we mentioned before. So with that being said, guys, with our season coming to a disappointing end, with that being said, we are going to finish the year 8-9, and so we have some tough questions that we need to ask ourselves. How do we get ourselves out of this space of mediocrity? Because this is the second year in a row that we finished in that 8-9, 9-8 realm, and while we had our good moments, we're able to make things shake out. We put ourselves in these compromising spots to where we're just barely missing the playoffs, or we do make the playoffs, but we have to go on the road for every single game. So, I mean, that being said, guys, we got some work that needs to be done in the offseason. Have some hard questions that we need to ask ourselves and look ourselves in the mirror as we get ready to move forward into season number 3. But appreciate you guys enjoying this video, man. Next episode, we will have the off-season recap. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video, man. With that being said, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do have to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hope you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.